all our friends, and they can have my things when we're dead. But we gonna live forever. We gonna live forever.
The Boyscast. We are here, and in solidarity with the Godfather, Joe Rogan, we brought in Chris Fega, Chris from Brooklyn, onto the podcast, who is going to be, for the next hour and a half,
just saying the N-word.
Just saying the N-word 200,000 times in solidarity for the Boyscast to
Get
show
us in trouble, Daddy.
we have an hour and a half. Take it away. Not today, Junior. It's the Boyscast N-word spectacular.
Just in time for Black History Month.
Yeah, that's
oh
what
yeah.
If Chris Vega said, listen, they're going to do this to my boy Rogan, I'll give him something to be mad about. He said, take this, bloggers.
All these hard R's, the R stands for Rogan.
I'll tell you, taking the biggest L in all of this stuff is by far Spotify. They for
yeah.
a second were like not doing
It's not
so
affecting
bad.
the numbers, though. That's the thing.
You know what? I thought so that it's not affecting the numbers too, and then I'm starting to like just Twitter like anecdotal stuff where people on every side are kind of like fuck Spotify.
Well, we know
The Neil Young fans are
Danny
fucking
Young.
No. I'm just saying as Spotify as like a PR.
Do we got a scab in our midst?
No, I mean I use Spotify.
No, did you see the thing?
just-
Sagar put out the whole thing where he was just like, here's all the people who have a vested interest in Spotify failing. And it's all the people who have shorts that are running these stories. And he's like, also like Amazon Music saw the most increase because Neil Young signed an exclusive deal with them. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's clear. Like it's clearly,
you know my stance. I stand in solidarity with Amazon as well. I'm sort of playing both sides.
Yeah.
I just bought extra stuff on. You know what I buy on Amazon? Pens and paper to write the N-word with. That's how I sit in the middle.
Yeah.
That's how I stray the fence. You know what was really making me laugh last night when I was trying to sleep? Couldn't. The idea of doing prank calls and then calling pawn shops and then saying that you want to sell an old N-word pass. Say one of my boys gave me an N-word pass, but you know what? Honestly, I'm sort of N-worded out.
Yeah,
so.
what do you think that goes for? What do you think that's worth?
Yeah, so if I could pawn it, but I do want to get it back though, right? I'm able to come get it back if afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, you're just taking a loan essentially against the N-word pass.
That is sort of a good idea though, to giving out fake N-word passes on the street to everyone.
it's like an old ticket stub from a Jack Johnson prize fight or something. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm gonna have to frame this N-word pass. You know, it's not really worth much.
You know what was also, I think, making me think with all this stuff, and we're not going to go too into the fucking nitty gritty of the Rogan because probably fair to say it's been addressed.
Yeah, it's been addressed. Did you see
chatted.
Did you see Portnoy did his little live stream? With
I've
those three
seen
guys?
Portnoy. He's up to his little
No, he
tricks.
went in with those Midas touch.
Oh, that I actually saw, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, and he was like going in, and then he literally, if you haven't seen it, they're like
He fucking hijacked or ambushed them.
he ambushed, but so there's basically a thing where this guy Vocal Distancing on Twitter was saying they were behind this whole Rogan thing, and because of the vaccine stuff, and they're just like the higher ups are trying to basically just like get rid of him because he's become like an inconvenience, and the N-word thing.
Point's been made.
Convenient, right? And then Portnoy goes in because he's like, yeah, it seems like you guys were the same people who were doing this to me with the Business Insider stuff. He goes and does a live stream with these three fucking weasels, absolute weasels, these guys. And then at one point he goes, yeah, you know what? I actually have a text message of one of you saying the N-word. And they're like, no, yeah, well, no, you don't. Like and then he's like, what was the name? He was like, is one of your
wife's Linda or
names
something?
like Scott? And then they just like ignore it. He goes, is one of your wives' names? And they go, yeah, well, his is. And he goes, well, and then people are like, release the text.
Yeah,
because they're like,
Linda's gonna be hearing about it when she gets home too,
no
right?
shit. And they're like, really, because they're like, there's no context when that should ever be said.
Yeah, pretty funny. That was good. And
There's plenty of context of when that should be said. Anytime you stub your toe after a mugging.
Dude, I had a fucking epic toe stubbing last week. Two
There you
times
go.
in 10 minutes at my girlfriend's place where like literally like my pinky toe is currently like turned inwards like this. And
Fred Flintstone
dude,
over here.
I was, holy shit. I was laughing because it was the point where like it was a comical toe stubbing. It was crazy.
Like Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes.
It honestly was.
You laugh so you don't cry, you know?
Literally, dude, I was like, and my foot is like fucked.
There you go.
From a toe stubbing, a dual toe stubbing.
I was thinking that the media, you know how in like minority neighborhoods, you know, where you grew up, the hood, you go, they say that it's very like, you know, against the cops, right? It's fair to say that that's happened in the last little bit. There's a bit of a disdain for the cops.
Yeah, disdain, yeah.
But so basically bloggers to comedians and podcasters is like the cops to people in minority neighborhoods, where you go, if anytime one of them gets involved in your life, you're like, yeah, this could help, but also pretty good chance it ruins my life. Yeah. Anytime, it's the same reason why if you're fucking in the projects and like a bunch of cops start poking around, there is a chance that this helps, but there's also a very good chance that after they leave, that your life's never going to be the same.
Good,
also,
analogy.
there's another thing with, The Rock, is sort of my last point or whatever, but The Rock was, came on to Rogan's thing and then he said, oh, he's actually, you got it, brother. And then he turned around and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know his past and I hate that.
It's a Don Winslow.
Exactly.
Samoan giver.
But basically, the moral of the story is that this is why you don't want these kind of like actor celebrities in your life. The same thing. If you get clout from these people for a second, like, oh, cool, The Rock likes me, you go, it's not that a lot of times that ends with them denouncing you for their own career and you're worse off. That's why I used to always say to managers and agents when I'd be like talking to them, I'd be like, that would be my main question is like, hey, how do you handle it if one of your clients get in trouble? Because then they make their big statement and then it makes it worse. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these people, you're better off to just fucking not be in there.
Did you also see immediately people found a tweet of the Rock calling somebody a tranny? But not only that, like he's got all these wrestling promos where he's like, let me say it in Chinese. Ching chong bing bong.
Not even that.
And like people are like, wrestling is scripted. I'm like, well, it's pretty well. Like if you know about wrestling, like The Rock is the one guy they don't script.
Yeah,
he really believed that ching chong bing bong.
Yeah.
Shit.
Also, the guy
that was a personal.
Yeah, that was personal. Yeah, that was like from the heart of the.
Yeah, they actually asked him not to.
But like the thing with the Don Winslow guy was who The Rock replied to. He's being like, sorry, I didn't know Rogan's past or whatever.
That's the dad from Family Matters.
No, yes, he's like some author. I never heard of him or whatever. But I don't know why The Rock has his attention, but then they were like, this guy wrote all these novels and used the N-word like 1,000 times.
Couldn't stop, yeah.
And he's the guy who's basically like chastising Rogan, and then his defense is like, well, it's in a book, so the character is saying.
That was what we've been talking about, method acting. If you're a method actor playing a racist, that could be a fun time. That was one thing we never touched on. Like when Leonardo DiCaprio, if he was method acting the slave guy.
Django?
Yeah.
Edward Norton. Edward Norton walking around the Lower East Side preparing for fucking...
trying to play basketball in fucking...
yeah. He goes up to
West
fucking
Village.
Rucker Park.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Just gets stomped to death.
Speaking of the canceled, actually, I think we were at the stand. Me and Chris were at a few different comedy clubs this week, but the fucking Louis C.K. was a fan of the videos and
nice.
stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And he was... talked to him for a bit, and it was a very weird conversation because like it was sort of
he kept being like, Ryan, I make YouTube videos too, and then just showing him a video of his dick. He's like, here's me jerking off.
Do not besmirch the name of my new friend. No, basically it was like 8 people at a table, and then he came up and he was kind of like, oh, it's you, whatever. Oh, I like the videos or whatever. But then immediately, obviously it's fucking Louis C.K. So every single person sitting there is like watching this interaction.
Right, yeah.
So it was just like such an awkward scenario. But then one thing he said was that he was like, oh, I found out about it in the woke racist video, and he was like, yeah, it was kind of when that video came out, it was like, oh, okay, we don't have to be mad about that anymore, which is kind of what we a lot of times say here, where it's like a lot of the things you're trying to make for people that are all fired up, and then you go, it's just that someone said it, and you're like, okay, so now people see what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, enough people kind of just like agree on it.
Actually, when we were at Brooklyn last week, Chris came in, and I was like mid-argument with some random person that I just met, some girl that was at the show.
Yo, that was
About
so
what?
weird.
About
I thought you knew
stand-up?
those people.
About a joke they saw? Or
It was the weirdest thing because I was like, there's these chicks there, and I was just like, who are these hot chicks Ryan's talking to? There's like one dude with a chick on his lap, and I walk over, he's like, this guy owns a sex company or something. I was like, what? And I was just like, I gotta go do a spot. I'll see you later.
I was getting into it with this girl, and then she was getting into about like, oh yeah, what you really need is meditation and this and that.
But
you
she
need to
was
get more in
angry
touch.
flirting with you, and right? Like she was.
Well, no, because her guy was there or something.
Okay.
Maybe the other ones were, but this one, I mean, if they were flirting with me, immediately I was fucking pretty fighty. So then, the guy actually had a pretty good point because we were saying, and she was going, meditation, this and that, and she's like, you need to get in touch with yourself and this and that. I'm like, I promise you I don't. Like, this is such, and I go,
was it in relation to like, did they watch your set? Or
no, they liked the set.
Oh, okay, but it wasn't. Oh, okay, they just wanted to talk.
Well, they were
to
just getting into this and that, and they were telling me, it was one of those things where they go, and everyone needs this, and what you need is, to expand your mind, and that's how you get actualized in this bullshit that I'm just like.
They misread the nose ring so much.
I go, I don't need any of this stuff, right? But then what the guy said, which was actually a pretty good point, he goes, this is sort of the classic East Coast, West Coast debate. And it really was, because it was, if you break it down, it was that, it was just like Hollywood bullshit of like, if every time you go to Hollywood, everyone's like, well, I couldn't possibly not go to the beach at least once a week. That's how I stay myself, and I need that. And you go, no, you don't. Whereas New York people are like, almost maybe if you were to be charitable to their Hollywood bullshit, is that they're too much like, I don't fucking need anything or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, with the amount of people we know who moved to LA to like do stand up to never do stand up ever again, because they're just like, what an amazing lifestyle out here.
And everything is, you need that. You go, well, why don't you go this day? It's like, well, I go to lunch with my friends that day. And you go, well, don't go to lunch with your friends. You go, well, that's something that I need.
Yeah.
They have all the things that they need.
Do it at a different time.
They can't, though. They have so many things that they need crammed into their life.
You're talking about people who are like aspiring socialites. Like they're legitimately like aspire to do nothing.
There's so many of them though, and they have these just insane regiments of all the fucking stuff they need, or else they're I'm gonna fall off the rails if I don't hit my routines of I need to hang out with this person for 45 minutes.
I mean, maybe
isn't that just a dry drunk? Isn't that what you call that? Like
dry drunk. Kinda.
Also, so Adidas came out with a pretty for the boys ad.
I don't even know if it was for the boys.
Danny said
for
this.
The boys?
No, maybe not. Did you see the Adidas ad?
No.
Can you show it to him?
I don't. Yeah, like I don't.
You have it on your thing, right?
I'll pull up on my phone.
So Adidas came out with this new ad.
Did they finally embrace the all day I dream about sex thing?
I guess kind of, yeah.
That's like a lot of people were kind of going with
All
that.
I can say is
They were just like,
basically they released,
check out these racks.
Yeah, they just released an ad with 43 different pairs of fucking boobies.
I think they deleted it.
Oh wait, I did. I did.
Send me
see
your
it.
messages to me. Yeah,
it's for a sports bra, right?
Yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah. I saw it. Not a lot of great tits in there.
there's a lot of tits in there though. Oh, that's their whole thing, and that's the funny part. So their whole thing was, look, there's all these types of gross tits.
But they didn't say gross.
They implied gross.
Yeah, they implied gross.
Some of them were fine.
Some of them were fine, but like. Yeah, they go explore.
Some of them are like some 90-year-old ladies fucking.
This is what it says. We believe women's breasts in all shapes and sizes deserve support and comfort, which is why our new sports bra range contains 43 styles, so everyone can find the right fit for them. And then they have 25 different racks.
Jerking out 45 different times.
25, sorry.
Do your tits look like a wet sock? Maybe they look like a pair of flapjacks.
That's exactly what it was.
Those are both on there.
Yeah.
But the thing is like there's not one just good one. There's like not as
well. Do you know what it reminded me of? Okay, do you remember the Ali G sketch where he's talking to the girl about money, and he goes, "Well, why do we have $100 bills and $50 bills? Because something might cost $73.45. Why don't we have a $73.45 bill?" And then they go, "Well, obviously, what if you bought something for $73.45 and then you only had that bill and it came to $45.57?" He goes, "Pay for it with my $45.57 bill." And that's what it was. There, it's like, well. We literally every single shape. Can you go to the thing? Imagine you had to buy condoms and they had 85 different sizes. Mm-hmm. Like obviously the idea is
kind of it's not ideal to have
well, you're going to sell one of them. Like what store is carrying 43 different bra sizes?
All right, what size
more importantly is the of the 25
more importantly,
racks,
hubba.
The 25 racks they were showing there. Like I was saying this, but I'm like they went from like these big companies went from supermodels, only supermodels, and then they went from like not everybody's a supermodel. Here's like some 8s, and now 4 years later they're like, hey, every woman's gross. Like I don't know if they're like, hey, we can't put like
if you don't like these gross titties, it's your fault.
Like we can't put like one of the 25 can't be like Emily Ratajkowski or whatever because we can't have guys jacking off to like the square 3 down and 4 over.
But there are nice tits.
That's what I'm saying.
Not according to Adidas.
Not according to Adidas.
Yeah. They're saying 1 out of 43 is like half decent.
It's all just cottage cheese in a sock.
It's just reverse ageism is what it is.
That is kind of what it is. But it is the idea of having like a briefs company and it was like, here's fucking 43 just mangled dongs.
I know, seriously. They have like this one has herpes. We have, do you need like a syphilis pair of underwear? And we're like,
Yeah, it's anti-scratching because your bumps hurt sometimes.
They run the cocks through one of those things that mangles the pennies at the souvenir stand.
It was.
Does your cock have the Statue of Liberty on it?
I'd say the best rack of the 25 was
the girl with the spots.
The girl with the Winnie Harlow. Like she had like the, what's that called? Where like Michael Jackson had it, where like your
vitiligo?
Vitiligo, yeah.
Ability to dance.
And then everybody else was like fucking 7s and to legit 1s on there.
Oh, there's the one girl's 75 years old. It's like,
I mean, and again, you don't expect a 75-year-old to have, but whatever. It's
also, 75-year-old has a bra that works for her at this point. You'd like to think, right?
Or she's like giving up on, like she's like,
it's an old school bra. It looks like one of those fucking scuba suits with a big helmet and a tube on it.
Also, probably 5 of those 25 don't wear bras.
Yeah, especially the small ones. Yeah,
there was a lot.
Well, they sort of put it out there, and they said the supporter of the ad tweeted, "As a father of 2 daughters that played sports, this is way overdue. Thank you. A lot of girls give up sports because they can't find the right way to stay comfortable." So
that's the person who did the ad.
No, they were in the article. They were really listing people's comments, but I like the idea of the dad being like,
bullshit.
Also, it's such a pervert comment for your dad being out there on the fucking titty things. Like, oh yeah, fucking, I'm
Look
a
at
girl.
all those fucking she's gonna drop out in a couple months. They drop out because they got fat tits and they get free things. What are you fucking talking about?
I'm a girl's soccer coach, and no, this is good. This is real good. As a father of 2 fucking girls, yeah, I think we need more of this. That's basically what he's saying, right?
That was fucking insane.
One of the girls I knew, two girls I knew with huge tits. One still does gymnastics, is old. And the other one played rugby through college. Like huge tits. Like it's like you can just you could have always found something for your tits.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
you can find something for your tits. Yeah. Me and Danny's mouths.
Just you guys getting dragged down a fucking field.
Just getting destroyed by a bunch of butch women.
You go up to Amazon. How funny would it be?
You think Nike's having some like all hands on deck meeting? Be like, how do we respond to this? Like,
Badges are also gross.
Yeah, here we out. 25 mangled vaginas.
I'd like to show up to the shoot where they got the 10 girls or the 43 girls getting ready to do their photo shoot. And you show up, you go, "Hey ladies, who wants mustache rides?" "I'll be at the back," and then just disappear.
Do they do like a formal casting call for that, or is this just like?
Yeah, of course. You say the casting agent's a solid job.
Yeah, the casting agent.
Right?
You think the casting agent just kept all the good ones for the dome?
He's just swiping
We'll
left.
just put all the crappy ones on fucking the ad. He's just got like just fucking hard drives right now.
He's just sitting in the back of the room with a pillow on his lap. The girls comes out. He goes, "All right," and
take it off.
Here, you want some popcorn? Just reach in deep.
And proceed. And then, but he's getting bored by the end of it. He goes, but he still has to say his noises. Okay, auga.
Hubba hubba.
All right.
Like, hold on, real quick. Honk, honk. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Thanks.
You'll hear from us.
I'm just gonna give those a honk there. And
all right.
Don't forget to sign out at the end of your. Don't forget to sign your casting sheet on the way out. Steam coming out of her ears.
Some of those tits are so far apart that they're not even motorboatable.
Yeah, every time
There's a two-stroke
once
engine.
we get the
He has the fake tie with the tongue. Okay, just give me a second. I got to roll up this tongue for a second. And if the tongue comes out, that means you've got the job.
Once Adidas gets to write bras for them, they will be though.
Okay, we're doing the 60 and olders. I'm going to have my assistant stand in for me here to do the 60 and over casting.
I wonder if they had a representative of all races in there. Like,
I'm sure. You think
they
they overlooked that?
I don't know. I can't tell because there's no faces.
You can't.
Other than the black ones.
So you can only see faces. That's the only way that you can tell race.
Well, black and then
you can only look at the eyes.
the rest
Yeah,
are tough.
Eyes,
you look at their eyes to see how much pain they've been through, and that's how you know what race
From
they are.
not being able to find a bra that fits them properly, and I go, I think I know.
Auga. I watched so I have a terrible movie review.
Yeah.
So this is legitimately the worst movie I've ever seen in the world. This is a documentary on Netflix. The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, it's called.
It's a terrible name.
Are they both just finger blasting to each other?
Dude, it's about a girl, and then she moves across the street from this guy who's like a serial killer, and it's got this very, Dexter-y vibe, and what's he up to, and it's a big mystery. And then at the end of the thing, which I will ruin, it turns out the guy's 7-year-old daughter was the one killing everybody. And then this grown woman in the last scene, she shows up. The girl has a gun. They get in a fist fight, and the 7-year-old girl's kicking the shit out of this grown woman, and then drops the gun. Then they legit go. They go buckets and gloves.
Fuck off.
Her and the 7-year-old. The 7-year-old kicks her ass, and she's on the ground while the 7-year-old's Three Stooges style. She's getting.
Is this like a sci-fi
It's
angle?
This is episode 8 too. By the end, so this is how it ends.
This is a
you
show.
go, who could it be? And then they just go, it might be the janitor, right? Well, it's a series, and they go, it might be the janitor, right? And then the janitor shows up, and it turns out the girl killed the 7-year-old, beat up the janitor
Dude, that's
too.
just Who Shot Mr. Burns.
I know. But like, is there a sci-fi angle or whatever? Like where she's like,
Maggie.
there's like, she has like some powers?
You'd think there might be, but there
She's
was not.
just a regular 7-year-old.
She just goes, yeah, and I told you to stay away from my papa.
Wait, this is a crime documentary? No, this is
No,
a
it's
show,
a
scripted
series,
show? Okay.
yeah. But it was it's one of the ones everyone's talking about,
Yeah.
girls especially. So I'm just saying, if your girl tries to trick you into watching this, avoid at all
Fucking,
costs.
that is some stupid, like, that's the stupid girl shit of just like, I can fight any man. No, you can't,
Yeah.
idiot.
It's
My
not.
hand
Yeah,
is
they
the size of your whole face.
They literally took the thing of telling like a 7-year-old girl that she can be anything she wants into like the crazy
Psycho
extreme
murderer.
of like a movie.
Yeah.
And then like the season 2 is she's the president now. She's 8 and she's the president of the United States.
Yeah, so
we're
she-
just going to go through all of
It's
these.
just Axe Cop, but it's a little girl.
She one-on-one kicks the shit out of this girl. It's out of control. And then
that sucks as a payoff after having watched 8 episodes.
I was furious.
Because you're like, this
What,
is the
8
payoff.
of these?
Maybe 6, but I was
Jesus, you love your girlfriend.
No, I skip
Faggot.
episodes, by the way. That's the thing you don't
Oh, really?
realize about me. I have no problem watching a 6-episode series, and I'm working, I go start, go through 3, and then I usually watch first 2, I'll pop in 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I have no problem skipping episodes.
Yeah,
when
for
I'm
a bad-
watching
for a
a
bad
movie,
show, that's fine.
If I'm watching stuff by myself, I fast forward a lot. Like I do a lot of fast forwarding.
So-
All right.
Yeah, so anyways, and then also a shout out to our boy, the Tinder Swindler, the
I
True
haven't
Salt
seen it, but
Daddy.
I really wanna-
I don't know if I'm going to watch it, but he's the True Salt Daddy.
Yeah, that's what
So
I
apparently
hear.
he was swindling girls out of money on Tinder, and they also have an app where girls are swindling men out of money on Tinder, and they call that Tinder. Okay,
They call that Venmo.
ladies and gentlemen, they call that life.
I do want to check the Tinder Swindler. It annoys me sometimes when stuff gets so big and then like where everybody's talking about it, and then I
Except
actually,
for titties.
except for titties. And then I actually went last night when I got home, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll, because I thought it was a series, and then it was like a 2-hour movie. I'm like, I can't watch this right now. But
Nah, I'm probably skipping it, but shout out to a man handling his business efficiently. Okay.
the
Now,
boys.
there's been sort of a debacle on the internet that just happened that I'm sure everyone will address, so we have to get to the bottom of this.
What did Rogan say now? Since the beginning of the show.
Which skin color emoji should you use? And NPR came out and they said the answer can be more complex than you think.
I know.
So what does that feel to you, knowing that you might have been doing it wrong out of the gate?
Well, I've been using the yellow one.
I've been using the pregnant black man.
Oh, okay. I've been using the yellow one, and apparently that's not acceptable because I'm Jewish. I should be using the green one.
Also,
I mean, I literally tweeted that yesterday because of the Whoopi Goldberg thing, and they go, "So which one should you use?" And I go, "Okay, which one did Jews use then?"
yeah.
Jews use white, and then they're like, "But then Whoopi Goldberg thing."
Well,
is
why
like,
should- yeah, why would Jews use
Why
white?
would Jews use white? We're apparently not white.
Which
And
is
a lot
it?
of people in the comments on last week's episode, YouTube, Jews aren't white.
Yeah, so which is it? Yeah, what do you use?
I don't know.
You're right.
I guess we're just excluded from
The
this.
blue one for Israel, I guess.
I guess there isn't a blue one. Do we? I don't know. Black, just in solidarity with our black friends.
Well,
Because
I
we're
mean,
in solidarity with the true Israelites.
Yeah, yeah. The original
Plus,
Jews
we were
were
the
black.
first slaves, and so you know.
That would be good if Whoopi Goldberg right now went full black Israelite. She,
Oh my God, she's calling everybody
She's-
on the View crackers.
she goes,
and
"You gonna
shit."
tell me what I can say about my people, cracker?"
The View is just broadcasting from a street corner in Times Square now.
She's handing out pamphlets. She goes, brother man, let me tell Whoopi Goldberg's calling you brother man as you walk by. Wow, this is the conundrum of the millennial for millennials.
I mean, I've never even given it a moment of thought.
Yeah, that's
But
your.
some people- I know, it's my
They've
privilege.
said that about that. That's your
I know.
privilege. They noted that. That is privileged of you to not have to give this thought.
Yeah.
They
I
said.
feel like black people only use the black fist. They use
See,
yellow for the
if I
thumbs up.
use the fist, I use the black fist.
You've
Because
gone
that's
black
the
fist?
If I have to use a fist,
I know a lot of white
goes
people
with
that go
dildos,
black
too.
fist.
No, I mean, I very rarely ever use the fist. Period. But if I'm going to use the fist, it's the black fist.
You only do it when you're
I
talking
like-
to the hooker.
It's
and
like a
they say, "What are
switch
gonna
hitter.
do
You
to me?"
call one in when your girlfriend needs that extra
No, it's
filling.
just like those guys in the Olympics. I like those guys with the Black Panther gloves on.
Well, they've gone through and they said this girl, Heath Rosella, identifies as 3/4 white and 1/4 Filipino. Filipino.
So he can use the yellow. It's the one drop policy.
And that's what you'd think, but this guy's having a conundrum. And he's in his basement being like, what do I do? He said when texting, he chooses a yellow emoji instead of a skin tone option because he feels like it doesn't represent any specifically ethnicity or color. But he says, I present as very pale, very light skinned. And when I use the white emoji, I feel like I'm betraying the part of myself that's Filipino. So
Imagine having enough time to think about that. Like imagine like legitimately maybe you should go to the beach and do yoga, buddy.
that might be a better use. Yeah.
like
But that happens when you do go to the beach too much and do yoga. I think that's how you get into thinking about this garbage.
for sure. You
but-
start meditating, and then you start thinking about skin color and.
But do you think
proper
that-
emoji use?
I want to, apologize to the people in the Filipino community who
Filipino.
feel like they've been betrayed, especially because like the
first
people
of all,
we know,
as an Italian, I feel betrayed by Filipinos putting hot dogs in spaghetti. So fuck them, all right?
hot dogs and spaghetti sounds good.
Yeah, and then they put sugar on it too. That's
Sugar on it, I don't really agree with, but the Filipinos where we grew up are kind of like hood dudes. But the
In
idea,
Jersey City too, they are.
yeah, and well, if that's the thing, you don't want them betrayed, or else they show up, they got this guy in a garage, like you betray the race. You're supposed to be a proud Filipino, and here I find out that your emoji use.
yellow.
Yeah, so this guy's tortured. By the way, it is funny thinking about this kind of nonsense and then in the context of like, hood Filipinos or whatever. But did you guys see that? Do you know who Crip Mac is?
No.
I just saw this on...
The guy who's on No Jumper.
yeah, he's
That, like, fat-
he did Channel 5 and stuff too, right?
That fat guy with has like the
okay. Yeah,
55
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, so he's this like Crip,
Yeah.
and he's a Crip, and then they found out that he posted a video when he was like 10 years old or whatever age, being like, I represent the Bloods or some other gang, and then they had this thing where in the gang community they say you go to get DP'd. Do you know what that is?
I
I thought you were gonna know that. Yeah, it's not. They have a new DP.
Okay.
So
I haven't hung out with a lot of gang members since I was 18.
Well, after spending about 20 minutes on YouTube, I'd consider myself an expert.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they go, if what happens is it's disciplinary procedure.
Okay.
So they yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
No, you don't want to get disciplinary procedured if you're in the Crips,
Yeah,
right?
no.
So what happens is you have to go back to your hood, and then they all beat you up. And then he shows up, and then they fucking kick the shit out of him. He's like, bloody black and blue. And then now he's back in the good books with the gang, and he's posting
Well,
these
because
videos.
he's repping the blue.
Yeah.
And that's his whole identity.
Yeah, he
you
was
can't-
black and now he's black and blue. So it's like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
flagging
it's
all the
because
time.
he just
now.
made a video when he was 10.
Because back in the day, before he was, official card-carrying member of the Crips,
Yeah, he was
saying
he was auditioning for the Bloods.
he was auditioning he was sort of putting it around. He was auditioning for multiple gangs. But that's so crazy that he had to basically show up back to the fucking hood. They just beat the shit out of him, blah, blah. And like,
It's probably way better
close
than
to-
not going back and taking that ass.
well,
whooping.
apparently, according to my sources on the dark web,
Yeah.
a lot of the people don't want to take their DP, so they just sort of skip town.
Yeah, they just go start a new life and.
They should have known that
Okay.
word was taken in the gang community, though, when they were saying, "Oh,
Yeah, they are the people who do it the most. I mean, come on.
yeah, exactly, right."
Lil Wayne was DPing people when he was like 14.
It's hockey players and rappers is the two people that just
Oh, hockey players big on the DP?
fuck
Does
yeah.
it help with the balance for skating? Is that what it is?
Just like fucking frat bros,
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it's
No,
not-
I mean any fucking super like guy centric thing that's
Yeah.
like a fun thing to do. I think,
you know, fun stuff.
but
Pounding claws, pounding puss, whatever.
yeah,
Whatever.
and they go. So the other person says, I use the brown one that matches me. Said an opera singer in Germany. So that's one way to go. You could use
What do
the
you
one
think
that
about this?
matches your skin.
Why can't Apple solve this? And because you know how you use your face to scan
Make
to get
one
in
that
your
looks like
phone,
your face,
just
yeah.
like no, they just instantly when they scan your phone, they scan your pigment, and then boom,
That's your thing.
That's your emoji, and you don't even get the other option.
It's not the worst idea.
It's like the paint sample thing at Home Depot.
Although it
Yes!
wouldn't, but it wouldn't work for this guy because once he got scanned, he would feel like he's betraying his community.
tough. Get a tan.
Wow, easy for you to say, white man. That you don't have to deal with the,
Dude, but then
things
you'd
like
have
him.
people putting shoe polish on their face. People will be
I mean,
black.
if
Tan
you-
mom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
That's the one I got.
In fucking Miami, I saw a literal tan mom. It was a woman
Nice.
who was like darker than the darkest hot dog you've seen, but she was this French Canadian lady, and she just obviously goes to the beach every day, like a shift, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, just like putting in a shift. And I've never seen a color like darker than tan mom.
How'd she look?
Gross. She was
No,
like,
but aside from the gross pigment.
no, she was like 70 or something. She's
Okay.
Like, yeah. She was like a 70-year-old like lady.
Well,
She was
maybe a job at Adidas coming up for her. Some of our titties are tanned to a burnt crisp leather.
They look like saddlebags.
Yeah.
she has cancer.
Well, I said I use the default emoji, the yellow tone for professional settings, and then I use the dark brown emoji for family and friends. So that's one way to go if you're listening. She says, I just don't have the emotional capacity to unpack race relations in the professional setting. So she doesn't want to use the black emoji at work because someone might go, what the fuck is this?
Who's using emojis at work? I still can't use emojis unironically.
Emojis at work is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not like a professional thing to use emojis.
Yeah, but I have girls do it. And then, but she thinks that if she does use the one that does her skin color, people will be confused. They go, wait a second. Why is everyone using the yellow? And then she's going to have to be like, okay, so let me start. So it started in Africa, and she's going to have to kind of explain racial relationships. And she's going to have to.
How many times does she use the word exhausted? That's my favorite one.
They like saying exhausted.
Everyone goes, I'm so exhausted by this stuff. Are you really exhausted by the emojis?
But the white bloggers are especially exhausted because they've been, fighting for their people's rights to. The thing is, they don't even have a conclusion at the end of this, because at the end of this, they're kind of like, and that's a decision that people have to make as to what emoji. They just want to say, just so you know, whatever decision you make as a white person, we're watching you.
We're watching you. And you better stay away from that pregnant man emoji. We know that you want to get in there.
The pregnant man, which is obviously everyone's like dunking on or whatever, is a pretty fun, like, I'm full emoji.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a good emoji for being like, buddy, I ate so much today?
Food baby.
I got to shit so bad, but I can't. Pregnant man emoji.
I look
So
like-
constipated.
So that's the benefit of the pregnant emoji. It'll be good for I just ate too much.
How many people are using the pregnant man emoji not in a making fun of like way?
You are right though, because if
Like
you're
what? Like who's using that?
I guess the
not-
odd trans like dude or whatever,
who's also pregnant.
and then they're sending emojis
Like,
being
is
like,
there
this
any
me.
capacity where you're like not a pregnant trans man that you're using that to not make fun of it?
Yeah, well, that's who it's for.
All 20 of them?
Yeah, you see, Daniel, the idea here is about normalizing wacky things.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I know, but then I mean, I'm sure this point's been made, but like, why isn't there a high five hand with missing one finger and then
The
missing
thing
another
is,
finger?
you're saying stuff like that. Like they'd be like, "Yeah, you're right. It's a little crazy." You'd say that, and you'd be like, "Fuck, you're right."
Yeah, somebody missing their ring finger is significantly more common than a pregnant man.
Right.
Exactly. Like someone missing a finger is way more.
Someone
common
missing every finger but the shocker.
Yeah, but the shocker or whatever. You have
Or
to
just
do,
the one
I mean,
finger.
you have to do literally every permutation of.
Well, but if you were
Fingers.
saying this in the meeting, they would be like, "You know what? I think we need to put a pin in this meeting, and then let's think about that and come back." You're right.
Hire
That's
like
how they
50
keep
new
themselves busy.
Developers and.
Yeah, that's how they keep themselves busy. And then they sort of say that some, they go, some white people stick with the yellow emoji because they don't want to assert their privilege. So that's some white people. And what they mean by that is them.
Yes.
So these people are kind of like, well, I use the white emoji just because I don't want to assert my, privilege of having an extra white emoji into this chat. And it's because almost like you're rubbing it in their face. Like, yeah, that's me. I'm white. Yeah, sorry.
What about it?
Yeah, you can't be white, right? So they're saying they don't do that because they think it'll make the black person feel comfortable. So there's sort of like a big you're welcome to the minority community.
Tough for the Asians in this one too, because you're like, do we use the yellow one?
Well, that's
But that's the
it
base.
immediately
that's not
gets
for, that's not for us technically. But then if it's like, I guess I'm white, but then that's triggering for other people.
Well, everyone says, it's because the Simpsons were yellow. It's like, well, yes, but they were white because they had black people on the Simpsons.
Yes.
And brown people. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so that's still
yellow was just white because our skin is a sort of yellow.
All of the pale white people were Asian on The Simpsons.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
And then they said, one friend who is white, told me that it is because he felt that white people were overrepresented in the space, and he was using the emoji. So he didn't want to he wanted to try to even the playing field.
He wanted to decolonize the group chat.
Yeah. So in the group chat, he didn't. He wanted to decolonize it by sort of using the yellow. So these are the kind of things that heroes. So white heroes are out there. Sort of.
That's all it takes to be a hero. You just have to hold the emoji button for an extra second,
right?
And shift up, and then you're a hero.
Yeah.
And
we'll clap for you at 7.
The moral of the moral is white people should use white or yellow, but black people should use whatever they want. I think that's the moral of the story.
The moral of the story is white people should kill themselves.
I think that's the moral of the story. But the real moral of the story is that anytime a white person uses a yellow emoji to not showcase their whiteness, they deserve a pat on the back.
Yes.
And I think that these people have been doing this in silence, and no one's noticed the, extraordinary gains that they've made in terms of racial consciousness.
How far away do you think we are from when you go to you hold down the emoji and then the options come up? How far away from just it taking up the entire screen? Like it's just like you press it and it's just like the whole screen. You have like 80,
for one thing 80
options. And
it's like a swatch and fucking picking out carpets.
Totally, but it's just like the whole screen is just going to be like every different gradient.
Yeah, exactly.
Soon.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to those white people out there that are making the world safer with their emoji use.
It's a black fist.
And I want to also say that I'm sorry that if you look white but you are 1/19th Filipino and you feel like you're sort of turning your back on your community by using the emoji that looks like your skin, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We hear you, brother man.
Or you could just not use emojis.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can be an adult and type a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hear you, we see you, we feel you. How many comedians are dusting off their Olympics jokes right now?
Oh, baby. This is the fucking worst. This is like the Olympics. I generally don't give a shit about the Olympics, but when they take hockey out of the Winter Olympics, then I'm like, definitely.
Why'd they take hockey out of it?
Because of COVID. They were actually, they didn't play last time 4 years or 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. And then because the NHLPA couldn't reach an agreement because they want money, because they're like, we're shutting down our season for 2 weeks and these players are risking injury. They're like, we want something for that, for the NHL. And they were like, we're not giving you anything. We're like, the Olympics. They finally made a deal. And then because COVID canceled so many games in the NHL in the past couple months that they were like, we're not going to, because we need that 2 weeks now to replay makeup games. So now like there's guys like Connor McDavid, who's been in the league for, I don't know, 6 years now. He's never played in the Olympics. Like he won't play in the Olympics till he's like, I don't know, almost 30. His first Olympics.
Well, that's probably adding to the problem, and we don't have to go too far into the article, but there's a bunch of them kind of coming out saying that the Olympics, the gender equality at the Olympics isn't so equal. And and then they were sort of saying they're trying to think of, they're basically saying that some of the sports, like they have the decathlon that's just men or whatever, and then they were like, even though it's pretty even, there is a lot of women's competitors. Because if you think about it in the Olympics, that is the least place that gender matters, because a medal's a medal.
Well, I guess they have events that are just not...
Yeah, but if you are watching the Olympics, that's the most time that you'll watch women's sports, because it is a co-ed team, which is your country.
Yeah.
Right? But then... they were sort of proposing that some of these sports, they need to have like women versions of them, or add more sports that are just women.
I didn't even know they had this. I think this is a new thing, but they have mixed, like way more mixed events now.
Yeah.
It's like not like obviously
Really?
figure skating was, but now they have like just they're having more, I don't know, just skiing and stuff.
I feel like
Skiing like two guys at once sort of thing.
Yeah, one on each pole. Yeah.
Do you see, by the way, the skiing jump thing where it was like literally at like a nuclear power facility behind it? Like they put like
it's pretty funny.
Ski jumps, and there's like, I guess they were doing it to show off their like green energy, and there's like 4 like literally like the Simpsons like nuclear fucking reactor things like just behind there, and like this is crazy.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I was thinking that if they wanted to add some more girls' sports, potentially competitive snacking.
Ooh.
So that.
Well, they were talking about professional pillow fighting to replace riding at the end of the pentathlon.
Yeah. If we can put that
Which
in there.
one's the pentathlon?
That's
That's 10?
It's shooting.
No.
No, it's 5. It's
5.
shooting. It was fencing, running, and then it was supposed to be.
That was
horse racing.
biathlon's the dumbest one.
That's the shooting and cross-country skiing.
That was the old
yeah.
Seinfeld joke. He goes, you run it, or you ski and then you shoot. It's like swim 200 meters and then you strangle a guy. But what about this for women's sports? Long distance storytelling.
Oh, just in a car ride on a trip that you were supposed to enjoy.
Exactly, right? You have one story. And then by the end of it, it's like if the guy's knocked out. So the guy's they basically have an opponent, which is the guy. And then it's like a co-ed team, a girl and a guy. And the guy's the listener. And he listens to someone of the competitor's team and they sort of swap. Yeah. And then the guy by the end, they're like, oh, he's almost out. And then who can go longer, the guy listening or the...
I like that.
So competitive. Or how about this best friend relay where every time they pass the baton, they switch their best friend for the week?
They have to take it's not a baton. They have to take a selfie.
Yeah.
Every leg of the race.
They run up to the race and they take a selfie with the new girl, and then how quickly they have to change all their profiles and everything to show that that's their new best friend, and then put them in, and they have to delete the pictures of their old best friends and stuff like that. They have to
social media
send a few messages to whoever they're dating that they don't like that girl anymore or whatever, and then then they run and they have to meet a new best friend.
I like it.
So that's an option. So these are some of
Dude, the long distance storytelling is such a funny idea to me. It's just like, well, she's made it all the way from New York City to the Hudson Valley, still talking. She's still I think she might set a record.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are 2.5 hours in, and we are not even anywhere near the premise, ladies and gentlemen.
They're already in the hotel room. She's almost ready for dinner. Story's still going.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is zigging. She is zagging. We are now onto a completely new story, I believe. That is what we call a rug pull.
The listening of this man, I mean, his skills. He's shitting with the door open to continue to listen to this mindless droning.
And like a doping scandal in that is he has fucking earplugs in.
He took Adderall.
He's doping scandal.
He's got this show on in earbuds.
Yeah, he's been listening to Joe Rogan podcast the entire time. It's an absolute scandal.
I'm listening, sweetie. Train by day, ibogaine, got it.
Yeah. He has a girl fucking that's in the other room sending him. He goes, no, she's talking about the friend. Remember the friend? No, she's in the thing. Like, no, that's her coworker. The friend, Sally's her coworker. And you go, the coworker, right? And they go, this man is paying attention, but we have reason to believe he is wearing a wire. He has a team of hens in the other room.
Just tell him when to nod and shit. Or he's deaf. He's like a deaf guy. They just get a deaf guy. It's the ultimate fucking.
It's the only time you don't have to be in the Special Olympics if you're deaf.
Yeah. It's actually a huge advantage.
Yes.
The girl has a sore throat, so she's having trouble competing. We have the one girl. She's working at an injury here because her voice is a little hoarse.
Probably a little too much clubbing and training. It's, she was out with the girls. She did medal in Girls Night Woo.
Yeah, she medaled in Girls Night, which is going to be affecting her performance. But we thought that might give her more stories to tell and might get her revved up. Oh, she is now combining 5 stories. We call this a triple.
Turns out she
axle.
can't tell the stories from Girls Night because a dude with a big bear head showed up.
Oh, and all those stories were null and void. Yeah, she went out for girls' night to get a little extra boost for this competition, but that bear head is now voiding the ability. That's so funny.
Oh,
you know what's funny? The barehead guys, some of those like dudes that are the dancing barehead they go on to be like pretty famous porn stars or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see like an old one pop up on the screen and you go, oh, that guy started out as a dancing barehead.
Good for him.
Good for him.
He really stuck
Yeah,
to
he was
it.
or you'll see one of the girls and she's like a big porn star now because that's basically how they audition them, right?
Oh, yeah, true.
Now, sorry to burst your bubble that those aren't actually bachelorette parties.
No.
What?
Imagine being at a girl at a bachelorette party and you're just like, and the guy with the dancing bear and they have like 9 cameras out and you still do it.
You still suck a cock.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, with the 9 fucking high-res cameramen around you. You go, I don't know, this one seems a little bait. Gonna take a quick second here to tell you about Raycon, the only earbuds that I use when I'm having sex Leonardo DiCaprio style, listening to my own sets. This is the only headphone that does not fall out.
I listen to Neil Young.
Sometimes I throw your sets in there. You know what I mean? I like to give you some of that Spotify money.
Get some of that boner.
Yes. But, you know, whatever it is, whether it's switching up your workout routine or going someplace new, whatever you're doing to challenge yourself this year, there's no better way to do it with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears. They're the best way to bring audio with you because no matter how much you shake things up, no matter how much you shake that body. You thought I was going Taylor Swift, but I didn't. That's the thing. No matter how much you're shaking, you know they will not fall out of the listeners. Their everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. There's also an awareness mode for when you need to listen to your surroundings so you can take the Raycons off wherever you go. Perhaps you're directing traffic outside of a school as a crossing guard. With optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are so comfortable, they will not budge. Trust me. So, Raycons offer 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, and they're priced just right. You get the quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. It's no wonder that Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 48,000 5-star reviews. Get on these puppies right now, and our listeners can get 15% off of their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/boyscast. That's buyraycon.com/boyscast to save 15% off Raycons. Buyraycon.com/boyscast. And also going to give a shout out to a sponsor we've been doing sponsors with on Ryan Long Comedy, MyBookie. Now, are you betting, by the way? Super Bowl?
I'll be betting. I don't know who I'm picking yet, though.
Rams Bangs?
Huh?
Rams and Bangs?
Rams and Bangs? Yeah, I don't know who I like.
Well, if you want to do
I like
it,
the Bangs +4.
So what? Yeah. What happens is you basically any money up to $1,000 that you put in the MyBookie account with the promo code Ryan Long, you they'll match it.
Okay.
So you
free G?
Yeah, well, it sort of is, right? Because if you bet, look, why wouldn't, as a guy that, you know, is into that sort of stuff, that's crazy, right? If you go,
you get it free, yeah.
You have 2 to 1 odds.
If you're wrong, then you just get your money back.
Right. So that's what, exactly. So for the Super Bowl, even if you're not into it, seems kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
So I always bet on the Super Bowl. I'll be using this promo code and I'll be betting the full G for the fucking dogs.
For the dogs.
So odds are much better than Danny's stock picks when you get the free G. Promo code Ryan Long at MyBookie. Pop it in there. Place a bet for the fucking boys. All right, back into it. But worst news, moving on, worst news. Oh no, there's good news and there's bad news about crypto, Danny.
Okay, what's the bad? Start with the bad news.
No, okay.
Good news or bad news?
Okay,
Do you want to give a shout out to the lady of the week?
Who's the lady of the week?
The chick in the Bitfinex.
Okay,
hack.
yeah. We'll show.
She hacked. Her and her boyfriend hacked 120,000.
Well, okay, so I'll give you the bad news first. What you said, which relates to that. So the bad news is that it turns out that women are actually better at investing than men. Eat my Whopper cone, for finance bros. And this is pedestrian.tv, and everyone's posting this. There was a few places that have been spreading this propaganda.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, tell that to anybody who invested in fucking Kathy Wood's funds. You know Kathy Wood? Dude, there was like last year in the height of the fucking bubble, Kathy Wood, her fund was outperforming Berkshire by like, I don't know, 300% or something.
Really?
And everybody was like, Kathy Wood's the next Warren Buffett, but like times like Warren Buffett's a fucking chump loser. Look at how much like she's doing better than Warren Buffett. And then,
those Peloton calls not doing well.
No, she had all these things, but then like literally, I think 2 weeks ago, they finally converged and Berkshire's now outperforming, even though she had this huge...
What did the blogs have to say about that?
They were pretty quiet on that one.
They've been quiet?
They go, she's just biding her time. She'll be back.
Well, this is the problem with their whole argument. So a lot of people are sort of, and they do the same thing in a lot of different areas, but what they've described, when they say men are better or women are better at investing, what they mean is on average, they lose less money.
Yeah, I mean, again.
It's the same thing. No, but I was having this argument about like driving, right? It's like, they'll say, oh, girls are better at driving. What they mean is they get less accidents. But it's like, yes, they're better variants, but the best investors in the world.
Says women are better at driving?
They get in less accidents.
Oh. Okay.
Because they drive less because they have boyfriends that they make drive.
Well, they also, but
I was going to say my mother is the worst driver.
No, but really what it is they drive safer and they invest safer.
Yeah,
if you boil down this article.
My mom is that's the thing. She's the worst driver because she's like, just like agonizingly safe.
But that's what they do with investing. Like
Yes.
most girls
I mean,
put their
they're
money in the
literally
S&P 500,
more
whereas
risk.
men like me we dare to beat the S&P 500
Yeah.
and end up losing.
Dare to dream with our SPACs that we don't know what they do.
This is the thing. Girls do not have the guts and the tenacity to constantly lose money on risky bets that you don't even know the companies do.
Oh, you don't want to buy a little cum rocket for your 401k?
That's the thing. Yes.
You don't want to be rich.
Oh, you go, I was able to buy the S&P 500 and I performed. Yes, but there was no chance that but you could put this to anything in life where you go, yes, that men join, they take riskier lives and start companies more. It's like the whole article is just men are riskier.
Yeah,
so,
which is like obvious.
So you go, more percentage of men have been turned into billionaires from investing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and more women have, less women have lost their entire fortune.
Yes.
Well, more men are CEOs, but also significantly more men are homeless. It's the same fucking thing, right? Like that's actually true.
Because those
Nobody
homeless
ever talks
guys
about
took that big fucking swing to be a CEO, missed, and now they're homeless.
Yeah.
But they tried to be this. It's not like they never tried. It's just they took such a risk. They had
Remember,
no plan.
remember Juicero? That guy's homeless now.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't remember that? It was a crowdfunding thing where they raised tons of money,
and it was like a
but
total
it just squeezed juice out of
a
bags.
bag. I know.
It cost
They were
like $500.
Yeah, I remember that. That guy was basically like the Elizabeth Holmes of like the juice world.
So yeah, their whole argument is that, because really investing is all about finding your risk tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And my risk tolerance is fairly high, period.
Yeah.
So if you get a girl and she goes, you should just invest in this, I go, yeah, if I was a bitch, I wouldn't be aiming for the moon. They don't know what it's like to be a moon boy.
No, they don't know what it's like to be mean boys. But yes, for sure, the risk tolerance, and they're just not interested in
Not to say it's better or worse, but they're putting a value judgment. It's the equivalent of saying, women are the best at rock climbing. You go, why? They die less. You go, well, that also makes them the worst.
Yeah.
You're like, the best.
It's like the same with race car driving. It's like,
the best people are more likely to die.
Yeah.
So if you said, they have more deaths. So if you say that women, have big losses less, it's like, well, yeah, that's directly correlated to taking less risk.
Of course.
Whereas guys like me and Danny,
not like Kathy. I will say though, Kathy Wood does not fall into that not taking risks.
well, that's not everyone.
No, I know, but she's the most
but
famous female.
But I'm saying on
investor.
average.
Yeah, on average, of course. But I'm just saying, Kathy Wood's. But again, Kathy Wood's taking some big swings, and she's getting smoked. So.
Imagine Kathy Wood takes her huge fund and she's got like a $5 billion she's investing or whatever it is, and she just sends a newsletter out being like, we're all in the S&P 500. We're straight in.
Well, that's the funny thing is there's so many like giant, when Facebook like imploded last week or whatever, dropped like 25%. There's like all the biggest funds basically are all just like super overweight Facebook, and you're just like, what do you guys even do? You're just like you get paid all this fucking money to just like buy Facebook, and now it just like imploded, and now you'll like never outperform shit because of it, because you're like so far behind the ball now.
That's crazy if you give someone 5% of your money to go buy
Dude,
things.
they did something. Facebook fucking like all the top analysts, like the 50 top analysts on Wall Street for Facebook, like 48 of them had like strong buys on Facebook.
Didn't their earnings just turn because Apple has stronger security now?
It was it was a number.
Now their whole
thing.
metaverse thing is fucking stupid.
They basically blew up 10 billion on metaverse, and then but the main thing is
no one's
Apple
doing that.
did. The thing where Apple now says I'll ask not to track, and because of that, it's harder.
That was a big part of it too.
That's the main thing, because it's harder to measure fucking.
Didn't it kneecap their revenue, right?
That's sort of temporary.
Yeah. It's harder for them to track. They'll be fine.
Well, they say at last, according to various studies, our much maligned crypto bro pals may not be the cream of the crop when it comes to investing. Instead, research has shown that women are actually heaps better at investing than men.
In crypto?
Well, they don't realize that my goal was to lose as much money as I can this year. Women tend to be more calculated in their risk, they said, and whereas men are not risk averse the same way that women are. And they said overall, generally, they show more patience in the space, whereas men don't, have the patience to just never look at it ever again.
We've used it all up dealing with women.
Yeah.
Yes. It's not patience. It's you're trying to fucking hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
If you want to hit a fucking, me and Danny are taking big risks.
Yeah,
I'm taking even bigger risks by taking this advice on Danny's word when he's this bad track record of giving me advice.
I've also been in that boat.
You were there too, and Danny was giving me advice today, and in my mind I was like, well, yeah, 8 times the charm.
What advice did I give you today?
He said buy Facebook.
Oh, I mean, whatever.
There it is.
I think it's a pretty safe bet by Facebook. I don't think that's a crazy.
After he was talking shit about those hedge funds, he's telling me to do the same thing.
Well, I didn't buy Facebook before that.
It's down.
I bought it since.
What do you do here?
What do you do here?
How could they possibly think metaverse was a good idea?
I mean, all they have to really figure out. I have an Oculus, and the main thing they have to figure out is because
how does anyone want to use this?
Dude, it's super cool. There's some of the games I'm like, it's by far the coolest thing I own. But the problem is that like a lot of the cool things, I play them for 4 seconds and then I want to vomit. Yeah. Like they give you motion.
Why?
sickness.
Because you go to the gay bathhouse in the room every second.
They gag you out, Meta.
No, it's because I think
you get groped. Someone gropes.
Apparently, the issue is that it's the resolution's like 2K and it needs to be like, or 4K, but it needs to be like 16K to smooth it out so that you don't it's not jumpy. Dude, there's some really fucking cool games where you're like flying around, but it's like these jumps and you're like give you instant motion sickness. It's like bad.
Well, they said, my take is that women are contrary to mainstream thinkers. Actually, this is the best part. So this is what their reasoning is for why women are better at investing.
You don't say. Contrarian thinkers.
No, it's worse than that. My take is that women are contrary to mainstream thinking, less emotional traders. So it's because women are less emotional. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice to know that there's one thing they're less emotional at.
They said that the reason they're better at trading is because they're less emotional. So that's their take on this whole thing. And that women are more likely to set up a solid investment plan and have clear goals in mind and allow them to roll with the hiccups than to panic like men. Well, it's just they're less active in investing. Yeah, there's words for these things.
Yeah, they just don't care about it. They just
and also this is another thing that they don't factor in. And yeah, I do know girls that are probably better, but there is one of the big reasons that you have girls are better too is there's a crazy smaller percentage of girls that are into this. So mostly the girls that are into investing are like smart girls that have good careers and make good money. Whereas there's no female JJ our body who's just like a retard that's his whole life investing.
It's a moon boy shit.
So there isn't as much morons that decided to invest all their money into.
By the way, JJ gave. I had thought about this months ago, but I never really said it out loud, but in my mind I go like, when JJ capitulates in crypto, that is going to be the greatest buy signal ever.
When he's rocking?
No, when JJ was like, I'm out.
Oh, when
I can't take any more pain. And then literally 2 Fridays ago, like almost when Bitcoin bottomed, JJ's like, I'm out. I'm out of everything. And
why wouldn't you just go long at that point?
I did.
Earn new money.
What?
Yeah, just like earn more money. Like just keep your
holdings. Because he was like he was
because he's basically saying that
he's been riding the fucking waves.
He says this about everyone, by the way.
No. I'm telling you, I told JJ, I was in a chat and JJ goes, I'm out right now. I'm too scared like that we're gonna go lower. And I honestly said to him right now, I go, this is honestly probably, it wasn't honestly the greatest buy signal. I went and fucking bought a lot of crypto. That moment that like JJ literally, I was like, okay, this is a buy signal, and like it's been ripping.
Now, how many hours after you told me to short crypto was this?
When did I tell you so?
That's what he does.
We were at the stand.
That's what he does.
That was
this is what Danny does because he goes.
It's a fucking evolving.
He listens to JJ and then he goes, okay, it's time to buy, and then he messages everyone he knows and he goes, sell time, boys.
I need some of that exit liquidity.
So what's going on with this Bitfex girl?
Basically, this exchange Bitfinex got hacked for 120,000 Bitcoin in 2016.
Wild.
And then everybody thinks it's like so easy to steal Bitcoin, but it's actually not because there's this like.
How did they do it?
They somehow hacked in and they just transferred it all out. They hacked into like Bitfinex's website.
Imagine getting your all your fucking fortune, disappear like that.
Well,
some Russian hacker that's a rapper.
They're not a Russian hacker. They live in New York.
Yeah.
I thought they're from somewhere weird.
It's some broad.
No, it's a guy.
Well, she's a rapper is the thing, and we have one of her rap videos.
Cringiest raps of all time.
It wasn't. Okay, I will say this about her rap career. There's worse. When we're doing the girl raps that on the why men are bad or a COVID
what
rap.
Was the girl who was
this
just
is
like
very cringy.
Like the recent one. It was like I think it was like a Canadian lady, blonde chick, a lot of big black dudes in the background. No, not Nicole Arbor. You don't remember? You don't know? I can't think of her fucking.
What
name.
was it about?
Her being hot and living with money.
Oh,
it was really terrible.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
This one. So this girl.
Motherfuckers, hodo. What I gotta do? Yodo. Our mission is noble. Yeah, I wanna be a mogul. My titties going global. Build an empire, Constantinople. You mean Istanbul? Get icy like froyo.
Build an empire, Constantinople.
You mean like Istanbul?
Yeah, this girl stinks. But
It's like how people think stealing crypto is easy. All white women think rapping is easy.
yeah, doesn't she have an accent though?
I don't know. No, her name's like, she has a super white name. Her
Well, I
name's
thought
like
she was
Megan
Russian
Green
or some shit.
No.
So
Dude, her name's like Megan Green.
The boyfriend's name is Ilya Lichtenstein.
yeah,
which is hilarious.
he might be Russian.
Well, they weren't using the money, right?
Well, they could. So they were trying to figure out a way, because the thing is again, it's like all those coins are on the blockchain, so you can see these were the coins.
But she couldn't
there's a
really use them, right?
So they've been trying to launder them for the last.
How?
Well, there's all these methods. They went as far as like, buying gift cards and stuff. But like the thing too is like when they stole it, it was worth $70 million.
Now it's worth
$3.5 billion because it went up.
So they had this money sitting there, but they can't use it.
Well, they're trying to figure out how to launder it, but the problem is because of the blockchain, like there's a very clear path of like where these things are going.
It's like having a really, really hot girl that wants to blow you, but it's your best friend's girl. It's your best friend.
Yeah, so they've been trying to fucking like figure out a way, and then I don't know, they got caught trying to launder these things. The interesting
But
thing,
her rap career is taking off. That's going to be able to pay for her legal funds once she's out of Bitcoin.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
The funny thing is though is like the Bitfinex, all the people who like got hacked, I think they had some sort of settlement, but some people didn't take a settlement. But like essentially all these people were just forced to hold through all this craziness. And like, if you lost 5 Bitcoin and now you get your 5 Bitcoin back.
Yeah, did you?
6 years later,
Okay.
you're just like, sick. I probably would have sold this at some point, and now you forced me to
I know,
hold
it forced these moon boys to
hodl, and now they're like, oh, this is actually great.
Well, the good
Turn
news,
them into women.
this is the good news for you, is that Vice read an article, and they don't like your kind, so they wrote this reluctantly. They said, crypto trading platform says that owning crypto, according to this study, will totally get you laid.
I mean, yeah, also owning a fucking Rolex.
That's the hot take is that sign the alarm. Dude, new research say girls like dudes with money.
Oh yeah. I guess it depends. It depends on which crypto. I'm sure if you go on a date and
Own a Dogecoin.
and yeah, you go, yeah, I own a 15 Dogecoin. She looks it up. She does the math. She goes, I gotta go.
So the moon boys, Danny getting tang. Did you ever just moon a girl on the date and you go, moon boys? Do you want to suck it now or later?
I think that's more JJ's move.
They said the survey claims that nearly 3 in 4 women are interested in a second date with a guy who paid the bill in Bitcoin. And also, they were...
First off, that would be a nightmare. That's not true. No girls ever... 'cause imagine you're like at a regular restaurant. You go, I'd like to pay in Bitcoin, please. They're like, yeah, we take US dollars. We don't take Bitcoin at this restaurant.
Yeah, well, it's the Tinder swindler move where you say you pay the deal in Bitcoin, but then you go to the front and you go, hey, I'm just going to leave my credit card here, and then she's going to come back and pay later, and then you leave them a fake credit card that or you leave her credit card that you've taken out of her wallet during the thing, and you go, hey, we're going to leave this open because we're just going around the corner, and then you go, and then you say goodbye, smash the girl, and then she goes, where's my credit card? And then she gets a call from the place. And then they go, girls love guys with Bitcoin.
It's funny too because actual Bitcoin people, their whole thing is they're like, yeah, you don't want to buy stuff with Bitcoin. You want to keep your Bitcoin and never.
I
use
think
it.
some people do.
But I'm saying like the maxis, the Bitcoin maxis, the maximalists. They're like, you don't buy stuff with Bitcoin. You fucking stash it away forever.
Well, the idea of owning cryptocurrency and NFTs is romantically appealing to anyone outside of the crypto cultural bubble is already very funny. So they're saying like, huh, that Vice is kind of saying like, as if
Yeah.
to anyone that works at Vice, we actually think it's fucking lame until that. This is the most annoying probably part of all these magazines is they toggle between like crypto bros are fucking losers to it's actually need more girls in crypto.
Yeah. By the way, remember we covered that girls in crypto thing, and then like maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about there was this crypto project called like Women of the World or World of Women or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, anyways, that thing is like blown up. Like Reese Witherspoon bought one or whatever, and they're like,
Yeah,
there
she
are
did.
actually a lot of like women NFT projects coming.
They have a George Floyd one, Floydies.
Yeah, they're
Pretty
trying
weird.
They're trying to get on the.
There is a George Floyd NFT.
I know.
It's fucking, yeah, that is a strange
bizarre.
one. Because it also looks like a racist caricature
It's
of George Floyd.
Fucking weird, yeah. They said it's gotten so bad that a lot of this stuff is seen unbearably cringe and undesirable. So they built you up just to sort of take you down now, Danny. And they said by even hardcore Bitcoiners is very unappealing to them. So the only thing that isn't cringe to Vice is activism.
Yep.
And having a lot of genders isn't cringe, but
is activism like the truckers?
Yeah, everything else to them is pretty cringe. Well, our girls over at on Reddit, the opposite corner of the internet, they've come up with another vetting strategy. So, Chris, if you're going on one of your gay dates, they said,
nice.
Yeah,
Doesn't apply to that.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to that.
It's only for ladies.
They have a vetting strategy, and they said how a man views your job and your work history. So what they like to do is they give people, they give the girls, and also there was another one on this same Reddit the other day where they posted, the girl goes, hey, are high value women just die to be alone? Because I've been following this advice, and I've funneled out 99.9.
Yeah, I know.
I followed out 999% of the man because they weren't high value enough for me. So it's like, it's not working that good. And that's what she sort of said.
And then they go, you're worth more than that. Don't settle.
Don't settle.
Don't settle is the new you're going to die alone.
And so this girl says, for ladies, if you're going on a date, this is a hot tip you can say. She goes, most of you know I'm a retired teacher, English teacher, and I just had a major epiphany. If a man doesn't respect your body of knowledge and your experience and job over the years, he's not the one. Examples. So these are the examples of things that he could say if you tell him, you go.
He's like, what, did you scuff up the dance floor with those shoes?
You go. Yeah, if you go,
So you have to polish the pole yourself, lady?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. So wait, how many eggs come with a moons over my hammy?
And this is the person starting out. You go, okay, so I'm a teacher, and these are the things that the guys might say to her.
Also, she's a retired teacher, so she's like 60.
So she's older, yeah.
Yeah, she's retired.
Or she retired young, yeah.
No, she says she's like a teacher for decades.
Yeah, okay. And these are the kind of issues she's having when she's going out with her other 60-year-old men.
Yeah, that's the funny part is like, it's not like a 25-year-old. It's like a 60-year-old man is acting like this.
These are some of these responses. Guys might say, oh, I bet all the students just loved you. Wrong answer, pal.
Check, please.
This emphasizes I was nothing more than a glorified babysitter. So puke, she says, and students' feelings mattered more than what they'd accomplished and or my leadership. So heaven forbid in a world that.
By the way, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, I really bet those students did not love you. Just going to go out on a limb and say,
you don't want to say that either.
Your teacher, that your students fucking hated you. But that's, I guess, what you wanted.
Yeah, you ever slammed a teacher?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Nah. All right. Chris?
No.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, some lady that might have been a teacher.
Yeah, when I was in like grade 3, I slammed my male gym teacher.
Nice.
I'm now trying to think. Maybe. I don't know.
So you don't want to say, I bet all the students just loved you.
Does yoga teacher count?
No. Oh. I did it like.
I still didn't, but I was just wondering.
I remember talking to like 4 girls in a row that were part-time yoga
teachers.
teachers.
Yoga teachers.
Yoga teaching is fine because a lot of these yoga teachers, they have a class of 2 people. So they basically kind of have their friend that comes over and they sort of help them with yoga and they give them $20 or something.
Yeah.
They take them out for dinner and then they say, oh, it's my job. Then they can go back to their dad and be like, oh, yeah, I have a job, Dad.
I have a job, you piece of shit.
Yeah, it's called that. How'd you get that $20? It's called a job.
A fucking job.
You should try it sometime.
Fucking scumbag.
Fuck you, Dad. They said, so that's one that you don't say. And then they said, pushing back against an authority in the classroom, particularly evident with a blue collar man. So I guess that would be if you were on the date with the girl and then she goes, I'm a teacher, and you go, probably a man really in charge though, right? So you go, I doubt you had much authority in that classroom.
Yeah. You're not very good at your job, are you? Like she must only find the biggest pieces of shit too.
Well, no one's probably said that. They go, yeah, but also if they're pushing back against your authority in a classroom, what might have come before.
Oh, you mean they're students?
Yeah. No, well, she doesn't want the fucking date saying that, which means she goes, oh,
She just has PTSD from getting fucked with by her students. So every time I do, just like, I bet they gave you some shit, huh? She's like, oh, were you one of them? Did you spitball your teacher's neck?
She didn't like that one. That was one of her things. She didn't like if people gave her a bit of shit.
Yeah.
But if you go, I'm a teacher, and then she goes, okay, and she goes, yeah, I had a lot of authority, probably as much authority as the president, and you go, I don't know if you had as much as the president, and you go, check please, yeah. So that's one of the things they can find out if you've
Specifically
really
with blue collar men too.
She says blue collar men are always pushing back against the fact that she's a cardinal figure of authority in the world.
Those accountants, they go, yeah, you must have really fucked them up. She goes, yeah, I did.
Pushing back that I actually know my subject. So if she was like, yeah, I'm an English teacher and know a lot about English, you go, no, you don't.
Say 3 words in English. What's your top 3 favorite words?
Yeah.
You ever read Beowulf, stupid?
Why do you have 2 phones, Chris?
Let's glaze over that.
Chris brought his fucking burner into the studio.
Dude.
Old habits die hard, man.
Oh,
you can take
habits die hard.
You can take Chris out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of Brooklyn.
Look. My girlfriend's not going to listen to this. It's fine. 2 phones.
What, she doesn't know about it?
No. We're not at a dinner.
That's fucking good stuff. Bring the burner into the studio. But that is, you go on a date with a girl, and she goes, yeah, I know about English. And then you go, yeah? Name fucking 3 words in English. And then she goes, yeah, what about the? And you go, yeah, it's barely a word.
Yeah, whatever. It's fucking...
So you don't even get any points in Scrabble for that.
Yeah, you barely get any points in Scrabble.
Give me an X word.
It is nice to know that, though, even if you're a 60-year-old single dude, you're still negging chicks.
Yeah, I agree.
You're still like, you know what? I got to put her down a little bit. Can't like you're not even past negging at 60.
I'd give you an apple, but that means you still have your teeth.
It's like you don't even lose that. Like guys are still just negging chicks at 60.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. But yes, you're right.
She made this whole thing up.
Yeah.
None of this happened to her. She's never been on a date with a man.
I don't think she's been on too many dates where guys told her that she doesn't know anything about English, even though she told her she's been teaching English for 35 years.
And retired. She finished teaching English.
They also don't like when you do the anti-fangirl thing, forcing me to prove I know nothing about the subject. So if you go the opposite, where you say, you know a lot about English, like tell me about English, she doesn't like that. But then also if you say you probably don't know anything about English, she doesn't like that either.
I mean, I'm gonna say there might be a reason why she's the age that she is and she's single.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think from this.
You don't like English? I hate you.
Yeah.
You like English? I hate you.
But it's funny because nobody in the comments is like, hey, do you ever think like maybe you're this old and single because of the way you are?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're because of the way he is.
No, it's the world. It's the world's fault.
It's also being like a high value woman on a teacher's salary is like, shut up, lady.
You're not that high
She's
value.
got that pension now, though. She's got that teacher's pension. Oh, shit.
Fucking get Kevin Samuels and these two to argue. I saw that guy, that Kevin Samuels. He's like the high value male guy.
Yeah.
He's like black high value male guys, and the black girls hate him because he basically like brings girls on and then tells them that they're low value. he goes, how much you make a year? He's like, you fucking don't deserve a fucking guy that won't cheat on you or whatever. He's fucking ridiculous, right?
Ace Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, but you get that girl and this girl in a date together. He goes, doing the creepy role play thing, pretending to be the student. And then, so if you say, I'll be the student and you could teach me, be the teacher. She doesn't like that. So there's not much that she likes, right? Assuming that I have, this is my favorite though, assuming that I have so much to teach them on my own free time, free of charge. Yeah, right, buddy.
Yeah, she actually writes that. Yeah, right, buddy. As if.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in like an English restaurant. Can you like order for me? Give me like one of those breakfasts. With
So I'm on the clock now.
Literally, she's like assuming I have so much to teach them, or assuming I don't have anything to teach them. Both red flags.
These people are great. Just being a retired teacher, being like, don't ask me about fucking teaching. Also, anything I say about teaching, I'm going to talk about it a lot, but don't ask any questions. I don't want you to even reference English.
Don't make any assumptions about teaching.
So did you ever read any books other than those 3 you taught every single year?
Yeah, that's his thing too, right? And then on top of that, if the guy does have the audacity to be like, yeah, what's your favorite book? Tell me about it. They go, on for free, huh? Like, I'm on the clock now. I'll work all day. And you go, I thought you said you were retired. And you go, yeah. And I'm also retired from free side teaching. And you go, okay, let's talk about my thing. Look at this. A guy that only wants to talk about himself. And you go, okay, well, we could talk about the English thing on the clock.
I love when the check comes. The guy's like, so you want to go Dutch on this? She goes, ah! She falls back in her chair. So I guess, considering you've been such a bitch this whole meal, like maybe you want to split this? And she goes, what?
Yeah, so she's a school teacher. Calm down for being like, there's so much knowledge. I'm just swimming baked in knowledge. But
she gets mad at dinner. She's like, what do you mean it's not Pizza Friday? I'm more than my profession, all right?
She does seem like a treat, though.
So do you guys know how the basically the Texas and some of those places are trying to get rid of like the books that are, how to suck a dick or whatever, right?
Yeah, they're getting rid of, what was it, Tennessee, they got rid of Mouse, the Holocaust one. Mm-hmm. And then what was the other one? What were they getting rid of?
I don't know. I thought it was a lot of
homosexual
them. I thought a lot of them were kind of, about
sexually. A lot of them
I mean,
are
basically what's
sexually
going on is the right removes books that have sex stuff. The left removes race books.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything that has the N-word, the left's like, we need that out of there. Which is interesting because the right was just the whole, like, they were just like, we're just race stuff, everything. We want to get rid of it.
It's just overbearing parents. Like, I remember,
But I'm saying nobody on the left used to be like, we need to get rid of books.
Yeah, that's true.
They were like, we need more books.
But those
and
people
they need to say crazy.
Yeah, but what
shit.
you're not realizing a lot of times is these people that are running the charge to get rid of these books on the left were for at that time.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
And they would have came up to be they would have came up to be those kind of women that are, burning books for that.
Yeah, 100%.
No, but there's even like a lot of parents will get rid of a book if it's like violent or sexually explicit in any way. Like, you know what I mean? Like even like Catcher in the Rye or like Lord of the Flies or something. You're like, well, that's kind of violent. And it was like, well,
they have rated R on movies for like that reason, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So like some of these books that they're trying to ban, like people are like, why are they trying to get rid of this? And it literally is just because of sexually explicit things. Like To Kill a Mockingbird like involves rape. So like they'll be like, yeah, let's get rid of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I literally was forced to read these books when I was like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you were forced to rape too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Against my will and hers.
Well, that's the funny part to me. So Vice and all these places, they're sort of writing all these articles saying that, the right's burning all these books, and you go, yeah, that's been their thing, but like, that is also your thing.
Just different books.
Yeah, you go, what are you, out of your mind? They have this whole thing, and they go, restricting access to books is becoming something of a common page of the conservative playbook. And you go, is that these people are so young that they don't know that it's like...
They don't know Republicans have been doing that forever? It's you guys are like, Republicans thought Huckleberry Finn was hilarious. You guys are the ones that are against that one.
Yeah. So it's honestly, it's like a sketch where the two of them are having their books burning side by side, and who can burn more books? Who burn that? I'll burn this. And then they
you see those assholes burning those books?
Yeah. And then they go and reach for the Harry Potter, and they reach for it, and that's when they realize that they have the common ground.
It's almost like the left's like, oh, wait, we're not burning books. We just need to heat this.
Yeah, that's true. The right would want to ban Harry Potter because it's witchcraft, and then the fucking left would want to ban it because J.K. Rowling's a TERF, right?
Because she's a TERF. Yeah. But that's kind of what's going on. But it's so funny because they are writing these crazy articles, and I'm always like amazed at someone's ability to almost with a straight face just like pretend they haven't been doing the same thing for the last 5 years. And in their mind, and you go, well, we're banning more reasonable ones. And it was, you go, the whole thing is the critical race theory thing too, where they go, I agree that
they literally will say critical race theory doesn't exist. It's like, well, what people are saying they don't want taught at schools is privilege. Like shit like that shouldn't be taught to kids. And they're just like, well, that doesn't even exist. Nobody talks about that to children. It's like article after article after article comes out. Yeah, like
why am I seeing it then?
Yeah, like why am I seeing it constantly in different publications in different cities of different teachers getting in trouble for teaching this to students? Like, well, it doesn't exist. It's like okay, like we all kind of admit that teachers fuck students, right? Yeah, why? Because we keep seeing case after case after case of teachers fucking students. Clearly, this stuff exists.
No, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then even then, if you go, okay, whatever, don't ban it, but like the answer is that the argument isn't even if the argument's being fair, it's actually really not about banning it. It's about, hey, should we be teaching this as a theory or teaching everything, like teaching this as like when you're teaching religion? Do you teach religion as you go, hey, this is Christianity and this is what they believe, and this is, or do you teach like this is what happened?
Depends what
you
school
went
you
to
go
Jewish
to.
school,
Yeah.
and they don't teach like, hey, this is one of the theories. They teach this is what happened.
And those all are a bunch of kooks.
Yeah. So
Crazy
are they
group.
teaching, and if you go psychology, we go, and some schools of psychological thought believe that, Freudian or whatever, it's all released to your id. And then it's your parents are very related. And that's what or do you teach this is why everything is because of your parents and everything's related to that? And I think are they teaching schools of thought or are they teaching a school of thought as truth? And then if you are a militant about that school of thought, you go, well, it's not a school of thought, that's the truth.
Also, I think too, the left's been burning books for so short of a period of time that like when someone goes, yo, you've been burning books, and they're like, yeah, I guess we have. I guess we kind of have been doing that. I mean, honestly, like we've only been doing it for a few years. I kind of forgot. I guess we do kind of.
I guess we do kind of burn.
Like they're taking a little. There's like a lagging where like they forget that they are also currently burning books.
Yeah.
Like in their mind, they're like, we don't burn. Oh, I guess we do burn some books. Yeah.
And they're more into burning, Spotify. They're more into burning internet IP.
Yeah. Yeah. They also they'll start just printing off transcripts of Joe Rogan podcasts just to burn them.
They're burning transcripts. They like to burn Kindles.
Yeah.
Well, the furries showed up, and they're basically.
First of all, furries at a book burning. I mean, those are the most flammable activists.
Yeah, those things are now. Yeah, those things are basically gasoline.
The furries are helping fund a library after a mayor tried to ban books containing homosexual materials, and. Also, that is always the sort of if people are doing it right, I guess if you're in this book burning thing, you probably want to just push it so far on your side better than burning their side. Like a better thing is if you're like a right wing conservative or whatever, right? And they go, okay, we're gonna put here's this new book where it's an orgy with kids or whatever the fuck they want, right? And then you go, hey, here's this new book about 10 kids that didn't listen to the Bible, and then they got their arms and legs chopped off. And you go, I think you got to fight fire with fire that way if you're that one. But the left is a little easier because their thing is like, okay, here's about 12 school children having an orgy and it's 200 pages long. Oh, you don't like
mandatory
books?
reading.
Yeah,
You're testing extensively on this. So.
And then you go, oh, you don't like books? So that is kind of the problem that they get in, I guess, right?
Also, this mayor must be so closet gay. Woo!
You think so?
Well,
yeah.
what's it look like?
I don't know. He's just saying we gotta burn these homosexual books. They
Well, I think also
homosexuality.
that is a very popular position among his base. So it's like, I think you can, if you're left or right now,
Also,
if you're left, you want all the mayors come out there and go, Joe Rogan's bad, and all the right people come out there and go, I'm not going to let you teach your kids about sucking
He's acting
cock.
like the heat from the flames is why he's fanning himself. He's like, oh no, it's not because I'm off a cleanse.
That must be hard if you are the mayor who's like the true conservative guy who really you're really not gay. You're like, I'm fucking so straight and everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I really do think we need to get rid of these books, and everybody's like, gay. Like even conservative people are like, oh, it's pretty gay probably.
Yeah, there was some Christian guys recently posting pretty aggressive, being gay is the God's will and God's wills for them to die and all that stuff. And they were going viral, and you're just like, oh, fuck, those guys are still out there, huh?
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Like the God Hates Fags people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
West Baptist Church or whatever. They still exist.
Still kicking?
Do you know what I was thinking is that furries showing up to your thing is kind of like when Nazis showed up to the truckers, because basically if you're trying to say, like, I guess Vice and these people love it. They're just like, look we have furries on our side. But if you're out there being like, we're not trying to normalize anything crazy. It's just,
and then,
nothing
a bunch
wrong
of
with
furry show up.
yeah. And then your spokespeople are a bunch of adults that dress like children and then have sex with each other. You go, it's probably not the perfect spokespeople for your average person that's like, no, there's nothing wild about what we're doing. We're teaching kids. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't want your kids to learn about being gay. It's very natural. And then you go, and then you have 19 furries standing behind you. You go, okay, you know what? You guys maybe wait in the car for the speech.
Oh yeah, the furries are not helping.
So they're helping fund a library, and exactly. Which what Danny said is that they want to teach your kids anal sex and in kindergarten, and then the right doesn't want any books, or the left doesn't want any books with any bad word whatsoever in it, right?
Yeah, race related.
Yeah, they don't want any race thing, and then they want only race to be taught in like a specific way or whatever. In attempt to assist the Missouri Library, the furry community has launched a fundraising frenzy over the last few days to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars. So,
Should make a donation to that.
yeah, I think we'll do a Boyscast donation of that. That'd be funny if one of fucking Chris's like hood friends turned out to be like a furry.
Dude, that would be a weird thing. I mean, you never found out like some dude who you would never think was like getting pegged?
Yeah, no, I haven't. You've had that?
Yeah, I've like met my girl's friend's like ex. And it was just like, that dude is into that?
Really?
And it's just like, oh shit. Like you'd never like, all right, that seems like an odd.
Yeah, okay.
Like all the time,
Well, he
not
probably
just
would
one
have told
time?
you if you wouldn't have reacted this way.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's why I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, do you think in like 2030 it's going to be like things like furries will be, you know, you're going to have to apologize for your joke where you said, I don't want my son of mine to be a furry.
A furry. Well, you have to apologize? No. They're still...
They identify
Furries
as
are-
weird.
yeah, they are... Are they LGBT like in that thing?
Well, they said most furries identify
I think that qualifies under queer. Yes.
Yeah, they're under the queer community. They identify as something other than exclusively straight as homosexual is what they kind of said. But mainly they identify as...
I mean, it's basically a walking glory hole. I mean,
it kind of is that,
it's
yeah.
just a glory hole suit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's in that thing.
Yeah, it's very... it's a stupid little subculture where you go... That's the equivalent of... not the equivalent, but... You know, like a goth emo or whatever those ones that wear the high heels that are, you know...
yeah, like the crazy... Like
yeah, and they do the dances under the bridges with their pants that look like parachutes and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's the equivalent of that. It's
Rave
like
pants.
some stupid little subculture. The problem is they're tying into their identity. And the problem is if you're into this like Vice magazine kind of stuff, everything that's tied into your sexual identity is to be like praised. So the furries are kind of getting it. Whereas before you go, yeah, it's some dumb little thing. You know, some people that are into like miniature trucks and they all get together and have their club. No one needs to hear about it or think about it. But anything that gets tied into your sexuality, Vice has to be like, this is amazing.
The furries go to cosplay like to like the Comic-Cons, or is that they just do furry conventions?
I think they mainly do their furry
I think a lot of
conventions.
furries are communists too. I see that. I see the furries because Matt Sancombe, our buddy, they got into like all these furries went after them for hard times because they were like making fun of them.
Really?
Yeah, and they were like they had like a lot of furries going after them.
That's such a funny community
It's
to be
weird.
trying to cancel.
But they're
you.
like oftentimes communists. I feel like there's a big communism furry overlap.
That's
I don't
great.
know why, but
Well, I got some inside info on the truckers because they made honking illegal, and that included honking titties. But
Boo.
apparently so I got some inside info. So some people I know that were at the thing that are kind of like know the organizers or whatever just like hit me up and they were like, oh, do you want us on the podcast and stuff? And I was like, we don't really do Zooms anymore.
Yeah.
But he kind of said the first thing was, in his opinion, the honking illegal thing was kind of overblown. That didn't really happen. It was like kind of a temporary ban, and it hasn't really stuck.
well, no, I heard it has stuck because they said they banned it.
It's on one street,
but
and
it's also between
yeah.
certain hours.
Well, this is a guy who's, you know, pro
there's-
trucker or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he says in reality, that's not that crazy. But one thing that he did say is the truckers have these like big plans. So truckers, not only are they, hey, we could be here for the next 45 years.
Yeah.
Apparently they want to take they want to expand the convoy to go to airports and
Well, they blocked the Ambassador Bridge going from Detroit to Windsor 2
Yeah.
days ago, and it's like literally you can't for car like freight traffic you can't move through there, so you have to go like around to like Sarnia. It's like 5 hours to get now into.
And this is the idea. Apparently, this is what he's saying, that they've got all these. The truckers have their big plans.
Yeah, and the thing too is they made it illegal to bring them food or fuel.
Yeah.
I was like, they need
Really?
fuel, and then all these guys were like, all right, we're gonna let everybody go grab your empty fuel cans. Let's go fucking walk around down there, because like now the cops are gonna be walking up to people and be like, see what's in the fuel can, and they're mostly going to be empty or have juice in them or something. And
It's
like,
sort of like when you're trying to disguise yourself and to do something bad at a bar, and then you hire 10,000 of your friends to dress up like you and wear the same
SantaCon?
wig.
Just go rape as in SantaCon?
It's a SantaCon
Yeah, it's-
situation, yeah. But
I mean, it also seems to be. I was pretty cynical about it, but it seems to be working. Cause
that's what you said.
Literally
yeah.
2 provinces in the last, like, since yesterday have said that Saskatchewan and I believe Alberta, although I don't know.
Also, how much are...
But they're like, we're getting rid of all of our mask stuff.
How much are cops really enforcing any of these new
They're not.
things? They're not. Yeah, because they're just like,
they're
I don't want to...
on board with it. A lot of them are
most of them, but some of them are still, you know, they are getting instructed to go do it. But it is a weird thing. And then Trudeau even come out and you could see that his tones
Come out from
changed.
where? I thought we didn't know where he was.
The closet.
He was in Tofino.
His tones changed. He kind of came out and he was like, in the most recent...
Oh, now he's doing the voice too, not just the paint.
Well, he's
His tones really changed.
He came out and he's doing the black voice. And he basically said, he goes, you know, anyone... we're all in this together. And he went from his original speech was like, truckers are all racist. They're in the KKK.
There's only one race, the human race. That's what he says now.
Now he said that his original thing was even if you've touched a truck, you're racist. Even if you've graffitied even if you've written your name on the trucks, the filth.
In dirt.
You're a racist.
Wash me, that's racist.
Wash me, that's racist. So he was saying now he kind of came out and he was like, listen, guys, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. He kind of said, you know, these mandates are for your own good, man.
Yeah, he goes, we'll have more mandates if we keep this up, which is not
that's what so this he basically
that's a bad choice of words.
Totally.
Yeah. You know those mandates you guys aren't paying attention to?
You're lucky we don't even have more.
Yeah. That's a double secret probation in Animal House.
He goes, and then the articles writing about it are pretty funny. Danny sent me a fucking person. They're in Ottawa. They're saying that people feel unsafe walking around truckers because there's such, you know, transphobes or whatever. And then they started a service where people are chaperoning people that have to walk by the truckers to go to the stores.
First, the craziest,
before trans acceptance, the only cocks that trans women could suck were truckers.
Yeah.
Let's not even pretend otherwise.
That's a very good point.
If anybody's the most accepting of the trans community, it is the trucker.
Well, except for the truckers that became serial killers of trans people.
That's true.
But no, the crazy.
But that's only because they wanted to wear their skin. They loved them so much.
That is a good.
There
point.
was a good run of serial killers being, yeah.
But another thing is like the media. I don't know if you've seen this, but like a number of different media people in Canada and like Ottawa have been like, it's no longer safe to be a journalist. Like someone on like CTV was like, I do this, like I have to pull my, like, you know, their
as if it's the
their
Taliban
trucks or whatever. They're like, we have to take our logo off the truck because I don't feel safe anymore. And you're like, first off, you're not unsafe. The whole level of unsafety is like a media person shows up at the thing being like wanting to report, and everybody's like, this person's a media, don't tell them shit.
Yeah.
Like this person's a lying scumbag, and then they're but they are literally lying scumbags.
You showed up at their thing to mess with them.
Yeah, but. Exactly.
Yeah, that's like me showing up at fucking Vice magazine with my stick mic doing a piece, and then they're like, "Get off!" And I go, I am being, you know, I'm
being
unsafe.
silent.
Yeah, and you go, obviously they don't want you here.
But like the dissonance with the media people, because everybody's like, yeah, these people are liars, and they're like work for CBC, and they're like, we're not liars. We're arbiters of the truth. What do you mean? We would never lie. And everybody's like, you're lying scumbags. And they can't like accept the fact that they are that. So then they're like, it's unsafe to be a journalist now.
Media's really,
and it's not unsafe, by the way. Like nobody has been their safety threatened, other than they go to places and people are just like, shame on you.
They're getting cop treatment.
Yeah, they're getting cop treatment.
But they are cops of the internet.
Yeah, they are. They're fucking.
They are cops of like.
They're discourse cops.
They're discourse. Yeah, so the media's discourse cops. And then, they're getting the same treatment where they go, every time you guys show up, you ruin, you're here to do a profile on one of us that's gonna fucking get us fired.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's what you're here for.
But also like,
and to lie about us.
Yeah, to lie. And like, again, I know you think you're telling the truth, but we know you're lying.
You're gonna see a guy peeing on something and be like, look at these men exposing themselves.
That's what you're here
There's
for.
There's children
yeah.
around. Yeah.
I mean, it's the you know, what's changed in journalism is a lot of those people, when they got into journalism, nobody was like using fake news or anything, that term, and now people are just more aware of this stuff, and they're like, hey, you guys are a bunch of lying scumbags, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And they're like, you don't talk to me like that, I'm a journalist.
Someone on the internet said that misinformation is just the left-wing term for fake news.
Yeah.
Because Trump was like fake news and they say misinformation.
Yeah.
Because they always have to make things harmful.
Well, I thought that was like one of Trump's biggest power plays. Like they started the fake news thing. The fake news thing was, and then Trump was just like they did it about the Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
And then Trump was just like, oh, this term exists? I'll just start calling the Times fake news. And then boom, president.
Oh, really? I thought he made fake news up.
No, dude. They were using that. That was like, it was like a very vague concept that was just starting to bubble up.
It seems like such a dumb term that only Trump would even use that term. Like it doesn't seem like the media would be like calling stuff fake news.
They think we're all so stupid we can't understand a term like misinformation.
Yeah, in their mind, you're dumb. And in reality, it's you are and me and Chris are smart.
Yeah.
Woo! And then they said, this is the last thing they said because they're making harmful. They said, well, Canadians have the right to protest, he said. The noise from the horns could potentially cause long-term hearing damage to residents. Oh. So this is where they're at.
By the way, if I totally sympathize. If I live there,
of course, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, but this is like all the white people that moved to fucking New York City that are like fucking hipsters from Maine complaining about the fireworks when everything was shut down in the hood. It's like, all right, first of all, you shouldn't move to Brownsville. It used to be gunshots, you fucking idiots. Like, what do you like? Yeah, there's gonna be fireworks. We shut down every place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they're like, yeah, people are gonna shoot off. Everybody just drove to Pennsylvania and spent a fucking grip of Coke money on fucking fireworks, and that's what happened that summer.
Yeah. But it would be a nightmare if you lived in Ottawa and then obviously your entire life.
The worst would be if you lived there, but you were also like didn't give a shit about politics. Like,
exactly.
You just live there, but you're also just like, what? I don't care.
Because if you did, you could at least get fired up.
Yeah, what? Like when people are like, yeah, well, AOC said that protesting should be uncomfortable. And you're like, who the fuck is AOC? I don't know who AOC is. I like the Senators. I like hockey and fucking beer, and I live in downtown Ottawa. Leave me the fuck alone.
It's 100%.
What mandate? You got to be vaccinated for what?
Yeah.
They just don't even know.
They don't even know what corona's happening.
Yeah, like they're like, I just go to the one bar I go to. They don't care about shit.
But yeah, they went from, there's a bunch of Nazi racists to having to be like, it's not going to be good for the residents' ears. So they're sort of running thin on their.
Yeah, they're.
But it's kind of
things that aren't
honestly,
working.
like you said, it's great, and like people all around the world are seeing. I was watching news reports from India where they were talking about like they don't know where Justin Trudeau is. He's hiding from these people who are non-violent protesters. Yeah, it's like fucking crazy.
And he made a big mistake by just ignoring it, thinking it would go away.
Yeah.
And now they're like trying to say they're going to be starting arresting everybody for just being there, and like they're going to impound their vehicles.
You can't arrest 10,000 people.
Fuck no. Not only that, but like. Again, the cops, like this was a common issue with cops everywhere when they had these vaccine mandates where every police department was like, yeah, half of us don't want to be forcibly vaccinated. And,
well, most of them didn't want to enforce COVID restrictions.
And they're all generally blue collar people, and they're like more sympathetic with these people than fucking like the government.
Well, that's the thing with cops with COVID restrictions. They're like, wait a second, we got to treat white people this way? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And also, it's a provincial issue. It's not a federal issue. It's a provincial thing. So it's like, it's basically like Doug Ford has to fix this because it's not a federal matter. It just happens to be in the capital. So
well, Elon Musk likes him, and his last thing before we get out here is Elon Musk's Neuralink Brainchip apparently gives people orgasms on demand.
It will be able to. That's the future.
Well, he said they made this device and they were calling it the Orgasmatron, and it was designed for pain management. But the perv scientist found out that he could give girls O's with them, right? And he's placing the electrodes on girls, and they were going, oh. But this is the good news is that happens, and then the bad news is it sounds like it's only for girls because the device aimed at women's sexual pleasure is still difficult. So there's a lot of stigma. Oh, now they're explaining why it's going to be sexist, even though
of course
they said because. There's still a lot of stigma, bias, and lack of resources in a healthcare for female sexuality. I think it's only.
I think they should stigma balls.
Yeah, I would rather.
They still don't know what squirt is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You think you're gonna figure out a fucking ray gun that makes bitches come?
That's what they're trying to say.
Do we not figure it's pee?
Dude, that would be the least for the boys move, where he just made a thing that we just press a button and your girl can have one, but you can't. But also, it could be okay that maybe you're smashing and then you go. She's like,
can you put this thing on for a second? You just like hit the button and you finish up. You go, all right.
You hit her button when you finish.
Everybody's
up.
happy.
Yeah. So that could be okay, but it would be an okay one for a guy to have where she goes, sorry, what?
I was just gonna say you finish in like a minute, and she's like, "Can you go down on me?" And you go, "I'm just." Peace. Yeah, I can't. Just 1 second.
It's also funny the other way though, where a girl goes, she wants to talk to you. She's like, baby, I was thinking. You go, just give me a second. You do it for yourself, or you go, okay. What were you saying? I want to move in together. No. Like before you have any serious conversations, you make yourself come,
and then you hit yourself again and you just fall asleep.
She goes, "Oh, so baby, I was thinking we could go on a trip together. Give me a second here." No.
How about no?
Yeah, I want to be able to talk to. Yeah. So that could be potentially, but it sounds like they're only doing the girl one. So Elon, get on that one for the fellas.
It does kind of seem like they're starting to realize that nobody actually wants a fucking Neuralink. They're like, but you can come.
No.
That's what always happens with these things.
I think the like quadriplegics and stuff, it'll be big for them.
Yeah, but they were literally like, Elon Musk was like, yeah, we'll start with quadriplegics and then it'll move on to everyone. And then everybody's kind of like, I don't want you to put a chip in my fucking head.
They are really closing in on you with all this stuff where they're like, you're going to be in the metaverse, you're going to have a chip, and it's all coming at you pretty fast.
But everybody's kind of just like, no. Like, remember Google Glass?
Yeah.
Google spent billions of dollars on Google Glass
shit.
and they sold like 40 pairs.
Yeah. Well, they were like $2,000 and they looked mad lame. Although apparently Apple's coming out with their version of it next year. That's supposed to be.
Yeah, but Snapchat tried glasses that also didn't catch on.
Snapchat's
They have to be
glasses
contacts.
were just a camera. This is like the Apple glasses that's coming out is going to be like really, from what they're saying, is going to be what Google Glass wanted to be, which is like full augmented reality, like layers,
But nobody,
like not shitty.
Nobody wants
Well,
that.
because the problem with the Google Glass was it looked like a villain glasses. It was like the lamest looking
Also
thing.
funny when you have to put those on when you're having sex to record it.
Yeah.
Okay, clothes off, glasses on.
It's funny. Facebook came out with their glasses like 6 months ago. They were just straight Ray-Bans with cameras in them, and then like just nobody wants this shit.
No, I don't, dude. No one really likes the Oculus that much. No one wants to
No, the
live
Oculus is sick.
No one
It's
wants to live their life in the metaverse. No one wants the chip,
no one wants any of this.
but they're really forcing it. So it's in 10 years, I think everyone's gonna be fucking bullied into it.
I don't think so, man. I
Yeah,
thought it was
maybe
going to
not.
happen.
I hope not.
I mean, I guess we've all kind of been bullied into smartphones, even if you didn't want them. But like, eventually, it's just like you can kind of rescind from it now. Like somebody can build a stripped down smartphone that just has Uber, and you'd be fine.
There was literally a guy on my flight 2 nights ago who was like sitting next to some random chick who was really hot, and he had like a flip phone, and she was all like had a million questions for him about
was
like
grilling
but
him.
she was like into it. She was like, "Oh, you got a flip phone?"
I remember
huh?
back
he
in
goes,
the-
he goes like, I don't really need a regular phone. I have another phone if I need it for like GPS, but whatever, this is fine.
I held out on getting a cell phone for a while, and then like I remember some girl being like, "You don't have a phone?" And I'm like, "No," and she was just like, "That's pretty cool," and I was just like, "Fucking, you guys are dingbats."
Yeah, now I got two.
Yeah, man, I got two, bitch.
I really caved.
Yeah.
I caved so bad I got a second one.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, it does seem like they're fucking in on it.
Yeah.
Pushing
I'll get the neural.
the powers that be.
Once the neural.
Yeah,
net's
you'll be the
done,
first guy.
I
You love that kind of
yeah,
shit.
I'll get the neural net.
But Chris, you said you got a show this weekend, right?
Yeah, I got a couple shows. I'm featuring for Justin Silver in Rhode Island at the Comedy Connection in Providence. I think it's RYANLONG.com. And just, it's Friday, Saturday, and Monday.
Yeah.
What's going on Sunday? It's the Lord's Day.
It's Super Bowl.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
And then and then Notes of a Goon.
Notes of a Goon is my podcast, which you can find everywhere that you get podcasts. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, it's probably there. And at Chris from BKLYN on Twitter and Instagram.
And Chris is going to join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/theboyscast.
Boys,
Extra
boys.
episode every weekend. This has been The Boyscast.
Hey.